to the other quarterback in Mac Jones, 22-13 his rookie year in 17 games, 14 touchdowns, 11 picks in 14 games last year. I was never sold on the kid. I don't think the kid's a very good quarterback. And I'm not going to sit here and say, is this it for Belichick? I mean, listen, he's not accustomed to losing, is Bill Belichick. He doesn't have patience. He wants a quarterback that can be that system quarterback that knows how to run the offense, and they're going to win games. And he can kind of sit back and worry about the defense, right? And not be worried about the offense. You can't do this with Mac Jones. And then you talked a little bit about Miami real quick. New England's defense, listen, I mean, he cracked 300 yards passing twice last year, but they wound up giving up 33 and 37 points and losses to the Vikings and Baltimore. So their defense leaves something to be desired, but I'm not sold on the quarterback. I'm not sold on New England. I think it's going to be a rough season for the Patriots. They have no offense.
Yeah, too, and you know, you got to start with Bill Belichick, and you have to wonder, is there trade winds coming? You know, because you had Brady go down to the Bucks and have some success, and here's Belichick sitting there. He's looking older, and I think he's approaching 70, and you know, how much does he have left? Does he still have the same fastball that he had at one point, you know, where he was considered the greatest coach and he was going to break Don Shula's wins record? And you're starting to wonder about that because he drafts Mac Jones, as you're saying, coming out of Alabama, and he's a solid system quarterback from college. That's what I would call Mac Jones, you know. But he's not a difference maker, in my opinion. And the offense is struggling. He only scored 21 points per game last year, 17th in the league. Defensively, they allowed 20, 11th in the league. So they did a pretty good job. Everybody, of course, is going to blame Joe Judge, and who was the quarterback's coach, and Matt Patricia, who was oddly given the job in terms of calling plays offense when he was always a defensive guy. Now, Matt Patricia's here in Philadelphia, where I am, and he's going to be assistant defensively for the Eagles. And Belichick's got to fix this offense, as you're saying. They got to put some points on the board, but it's Mac Jones the guy to do this. And they're another team, you know, you wonder who's that playmaker that they have. I know maybe they bring in DeAndre Hopkins. There have been some rumors about him coming there, but you wonder, they just signed Devontae Partner to extension, a guy who really is not getting great separation. And you know, who's going to be that playmaker that can put some points up for them? Because New England, as you talk about, right now you have to think they're in the basement of the division, and maybe Robert Kraft eventually will make a change there because Belichick can only live on all the Super Bowl rings for so long.
Yeah, it's a good point with the coordinator position, right? Judge basically worked with the quarterbacks. But you look at Jones's numbers: completion percentage, yards per game, touchdowns per game, passer rating, QBR, all dropped from his rookie year. So, okay, let's bring back Bill O'Brien, right? I don't know if, you know, you've heard some ex-Patriots, Asante Samuel, one of them, talk a little bit about, you know, the gadgets don't work, you know, the coaching's, it's not resonating, right? It's, you know, it's just not, it's not there anymore with Belichick. And, you know, it's a chicken or the egg, who made who. I think it's a culmination of both, but I just don't see how this team's going to generate any type of offense. I mean, if I looked at this team and I start to look at their win total and some of these over-unders for some of these games, I'm probably going to hammer the under a lot of times, because especially if they're going against teams that are offensively inclined like they are to not score points. I just don't see them mustering any type of offense. And I mean, look, can there be a scenario where they finish 6-11 and Belichick decides, you know, call it a career? Or are you hoping that if everything goes south, maybe then you've got more quarterbacks coming out, higher profile names coming out, right? That, you know, Belichick says, all right, give me another year or two. I mean, it's very uncharacteristic for this team to go through quarterbacks. Brady leaves, what happens? Cam Newton, now Mac Jones, and a couple backups. I mean, it's not Patriot-like, I guess, is the point.
Yeah, and he may very well like Bailey Zappi, who was 2-0 in the two
There you
games they
go.
started. Yep. And he may be stuck with Mac Jones because they drafted him so high. But there's no one to blame for himself. He's basically their de facto general manager as well. I'm hearing situations though, Q, maybe if he leaves, he's going to want that Mike Holmgren type situation where Holmgren leaves the Packers and then he goes to the Seattle and he gets total control. So anywhere Belichick goes, that's what he's going to want. And he's going to talk about what happened with Andy Reid. You know what I mean? Where Andy Reid leaves Philadelphia and has a whole new rebirth somewhere else. I just don't see, Belichick, this is his life. I just can't see him going, doing anything else other than being a head coach of football now. The key thing, though, is has he had too much nepotism? He has both his sons working for him in terms of, uh, it's weird. They don't have a de facto defensive coordinator, but one of them is the safeties coach and one of them is the linebackers coach. So what's he got left? So
Yeah.
we're going to see. It all starts, they got the Philadelphia Eagles first game of the season, then they have Miami. These are both home games. They're at the Jets, at Dallas, New Orleans, at the Raiders, and then they had host Buffalo. So, you know, we'll know very early on what type of season it's going to be for these guys. But I think it's going to be a long one right now. We always try to stack the division. I firmly have them as team number 4 in the AFC East.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the Bills division to lose, and then Miami and the Jets,